Hello and welcome to another ghostly tale from up here near Wascley. Now this one is about a figure which is supposed to be seen walking along this track. The figure what is seen walking along this track is a man, and when people see him he looks a bit disheveled, plus also he looks, when people look down, his feet are bleeding. He's got no shoes on his feet and they are bleeding. Morning. Now the story goes that in the 17 or 1800s there was two men out. They were poaching or hunting deer and rabbits, whatever they could get. They were out late at night when a storm hit. Now times past around here it used to be real bad in the winter. We've been blessed this year so far. It has only been wet, there hasn't been much snow, but when it comes, it does come heavy up here. Anyway, they were out when they got caught in a blizzard. To survive, they decided to dig into a little foxhole that they saw. There was just enough room to fit them to it and both them in, but they both had to crawl in head first to get in. The first one crawled in, and his mate outside, as he was crawling in, saw that this lad who just crawled in had a lot better shoes than what he had. His shoes were leaking in, his feet were freezing cold. He knew if he didn't get them dry soon, he would probably lose his feet to frostbite. As the fellow crawled into the hole, his mate, his Mara, sadly done a heinous crime. He took out his knife, stabbed him in his side and killed him. Now he went to take his shoes off, but because of the cold and the damp, his feet had swollen and he couldn't get the shoes off. So what he had to do was he chopped the other person's feet off, taking the shoes and cutting the feet out of the shoes. He finally got them off, then he took his shoes off, took them away and put this, now his dead friend's boots on. Once the storm abated, he headed back home and he told the family that he had lost his friend in the snow, the blizzard, and didn't know where he'd gone. He'd just survived by hiding in a foxhole, but he didn't know where his friend was. A search was done, but his friend was never found. Now, a year later, the lad was in the house exactly on the anniversary of his crime when there was a knock at the door. It was a blizzard, stormy night. He went to answer and you could just see a figure of a man standing outside. He went to shout him in. He says, "Come on, get yourself in, get yourself warmed." And the man says, "Thank you, I would do, but I can't." He says, "Why not?" He says, "Go and make a mess of your floor." He says, "Don't worry about that, get yourself in." He says, "No," he says, "I'll make a mess of my floor because I've got no shoes." So the man says, "How have you got no shoes?" And this man who was standing outside said, "Because you stole them." Immediately, the man in the house looked and saw, yes, that was his friend standing there. His friend, what he'd killed a year earlier. He looked down at his feet and there was not feet, but bloody stumps. And in the blood, in the snow, there was a blood all around, leaking from his feet, or where his feet should have been. Now, like I say, this track here now, sometimes when people come along, they see a figure of a man walking along here, and as they get closer, they see that the man has got no feet and that he's just got bloody stumps. So if you come up this way and you're walking along, if it's getting a bit stormy and you see a man walking toward you, say hello, ask him if he's okay. But if you don't want to have a shock, don't look down at his feet, because you might just see that he's got none.